Today I am doing a slowed down video of the 4-ingredient fabric bowls made from recycled materials. So I have had a special request from many of you to do a more detailed tutorial on this most amazing recycled art project. So our 4 ingredients are cling wrap, glue, some random containers, recyclables. I have yogurt, candy, milk, not sure. The only requirement for the recyclable bowl is that you don't use a container that is tapered up, so the top needs to be at least the same size, like this milk container, as the bottom, or like these materials, these recycled materials are bigger at the top than the bottom. So as you can see, this one kind of slightly tapers up. The reason is that these are just molds, so we're going to have to pop these out to get our fabric bowl. You can see on this one, we're using this container as a mold, and when this is dry, we are able to just pop it out. If it's smaller at the top and wider at the bottom, it just doesn't work. So that's the idea. So you're going to collect your cling wrap, your recyclables, your glue, and any random material, just yarn. There's some ripped up jeans in here, some other types of string, random things, just material, any kind of fabric works, even some of this garden string, just anything that you can wrap and use with glue. So I'm going to get these out of the way and we're going to get started. So I think today I will choose, you know what, I'm going to do this yogurt container because I haven't done a yogurt one before, so I'm going to experiment with this today. So first thing is you're going to grab your cling wrap and you're going to just kind of get it on the inside here. Second step is to get it all around the outside. You just want to cover the whole thing. You don't want any of the recyclable exposed. Like I said, we're just using it as a mold, so it's got to pop out. So I can see there's some still here, so you just can stretch it, make it kind of fit, fold it over the edge best you can. Get a little more. Need a tiny bit more. So the next thing is the inside. If you care about what the inside looks like, your first layer with your fabric is going to be put on upside down. So these had a different, you can kind of see here, it was a lighter fabric on the inside, or the wrong side of the fabric was duller, and this is brighter. So if you care about that, what the inside of your fabric bowl is going to look like, you want to pay attention to, here's a good example. This is the right side of the fabric, but when I made this fabric bowl from this container, I didn't flip it. So this is the lighter side, or the wrong side of fabric. But it didn't bother me. I kind of like the muted. So I'll show you. So the inside, let's say I care about what the inside looks like. So I'm going to show you our first layer of fabric on here is we're going to do the wrong side, which is this inside of the fabric. We're going to put that this way. We're going to layer it this way, so that when we look inside the bowl, when it's all done, this brighter side is what is going to be, is what we're going to be looking at. So I'm going to start with the base of these. I like to get a heavier, sometimes I do the jean material, sometimes I just layer a bunch, just so that the base is a harder. This one I only did one layer, and you can see I even missed some spots here. So it's a little weaker at the bottom. So if you want to have a harder bottom on your bowl, just a more stable container, you're going to get a thicker fabric, or you're going to layer fabric here. So let's get started. I start at the bottom of these pieces just so that I can build my base. This takes a lot of glue. It's pretty messy, but it's process art. So I'm going to just start layering. And running this kind of down the sides. So I'm going to start flipping this fabric now. So when I'm going to look, so now I'm going to be paying attention to what I want to see on the outside of the bowl. Just for the bottom. And honestly, it all blends together. But if you have specific fabrics that you're attached to, and you want to see them on the inside and the outside of the bowl, then that's what you kind of want to pay attention to. So from here, you're just going to start wrapping and gluing and pressing down. So pay attention to any kind of holes you might have. Like, I don't see that there's a lot of fabric here, so I'm gonna find another piece here and kind of just fill that in. Maybe I'll cut a piece a little bit bigger than that. Sometimes I just wrap it, but you'll find your way through this the more you do. Another piece right here, you can see it's just the cling wrap, so I'm probably going to have to get a piece to go there just because that might be a weak corner. Just layering. So once you get the base on and you're feeling like it's pretty solid, you can just start working your way around the sides. Most of the material that I use, I like to cut into these strips so that you know, I can just wrap it easily around. I might want to do this one upside down like this so that when I look inside the bowl I could see that pattern. I like when, you know, when when the material folds, it kind of gives it more texture, I guess, more interest for me. So when my material gets wound up or it gets bent on itself or another piece, I kind of like how it looks. So that's what's happening here. It's not bothering me. This is a long, long piece I've got here. Once you get to the top, I just bring the material just right up to the edge. I don't go over. Just try to bring it right up as close as you can. We still have to pop that mold out, so you don't want to go up and wrap it around the top and inside. It's just the outside here. a little bit of an exposed recycled yogurt container there, so just pull it around. The glue is really the cement on this, so don't be afraid to use, you know, more than you think. It's not going to hurt it. I've got this big exposed area, and the jean color is darker on this side, and so that gives me a chance to kind of see what it'll be. We're going to be able to see the jean on the inside, that darker color, which is what I want. So sometimes these pieces of fabric like to peel up, so just go back and check them. You'll be able to see some parts that you might need to add another piece for stability. I like to add thinner pieces on the very top here, just to build some more structure to it, so it's thicker on the top, so the container doesn't get floppy. This honestly is just really about layering and not overthinking, so I suppose you could plan out where you want everything, but I'm not sure if it would turn out exactly how you want it. I love the idea of this just being a process kind of based project, and it's a surprise every time I pop one of these molds out. The most challenging part of this project is starting. It's once you start building the layers up, you can feel it just becomes less delicate feeling, which is why I guess I like to start at the base, because if I can get that down and just work my way around these edges, it starts to build the form and it doesn't feel so floppy. I think as a final touch, I'm going to add some yarn just around this top to give it a little bit more structure here, because right now I think I just have maybe 2 layers there. This feels pretty good. You can see I'm just really, I continuously push these fabric pieces down with my brush because it starts to dry and the air starts to rise and there's a lot of bubbles in here. So if you can just come back with your brush and just kind of try to seal everything and spread this glue around even more, you're gonna find that it's just gonna, you're not gonna have any of these pieces start to fall off and peel off once it starts drying. So you just give a little pressure to your brush and you're just gonna push this glue out and around, get rid of some of those air pockets. So I think I'm gonna choose this crazy pattern here. And we'll just kind of give it a go around here. I feel like that's pretty good. So we're gonna leave this probably for overnight. You can, but I usually get anxious and I only wait a couple hours. Once it starts to feel a little tacky, like, or not tacky, but a little bit solid, you can actually pop this out. It's best to wait until it's totally dry and it kind of it's bonded together, and then this is a lot easier to pop out. It's not so sticky. I'm going to show you one that I did earlier today. It's still wet, but let's just do this. You can see the glue has dried a lot because it's cleared, so it's still pretty sticky. This is also a good time to kind of see where you might need to add more glue, or if you had any holes in here. This is kind of popping up a little bit, and you can just push this down with your finger. You don't have to add more glue unless you have some big pockets that aren't, you know, any pieces that are really not peeling or that are peeling up. But for the sake of time here, I'm gonna see if I can pop this out. It definitely needs more time to dry, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna get this. I'm gonna cut this, I think, because I wrapped it around too much, but you're gonna get this, pull out what we did here where we filled in all of the saran wrap in there. You're gonna be able to pull that out, and you're just gonna pop this mold out. And when it is completely dry, it is a lot easier to do. I'm probably going to, it actually just pops right out, but let's see what we can do here. You're just gonna peel this out and just kind of pop it out here. Reform it, but this is the idea. So then this actually is all dry too, and it just pops right out, and I will show you what I'm talking about. I did this a little early just to give you the idea, but this is what it is, and it just becomes this beautiful bowl. And you see how the inside, how I had that fabric that I turned upside down, the shells here. So I turned it upside down when I was doing that, so that the bottom, so that when we look in the bowl, we can see this side of the pattern instead of this side. So that's pretty cool. So what I think I'm going to do is actually let this dry a little bit more. So I'm just gonna carelessly put this back on here, kind of, and just let it sit and dry here a little bit more. It should be fine. But I'll show you the one that I did in the video, the last video. Do you see how the mold is exactly perfect to this bowl? So if you let this dry for hours and it's actually hard, this plastic wrap that was in here will just pull away and pop right off. And you have this bowl that's absolutely gorgeous, and it's hard. So that's it. That is our 4-ingredient recycled fabric bowl. Fabric bowls made from recycled materials.